Mercury. So again, that's the nuts and bolts of what happened here today. Alicia Dean talked to some students, some parents today, and she has more on that story. Alicia.
Thank you, Bob. And, you know, the good news in all of this is that the overwhelming majority of the students here were okay. So once parents got the call that their kids were fine, worry turned to waiting.
Now I'm mad. I want my kid home so that I can get him to his water polo game, you know. Let him out the back, let him out the side, you know, have a plan. When there's a chemical spill like this, have a plan to get them off the campus, especially if they've got extracurricular activities.
That was Dawn Gilsdorf, the parent of an 11th grader. She showed up at the school to pick up her son to take him to water polo practice, but ended up waiting for hours for him to be released. She kept in contact with him the entire time via text message. Liliana Macias and her boyfriend Dylan Burton managed to keep in touch with their friends the same way. Macias says what happened here today was definitely cause for concern.
And it's like actually kind of scary though, like just to know somebody that like comes to school every day with you in the same environment with you is bringing all these like deadly things into school.
And of course, the toughest part for everyone here on the outside was waiting for the folks on the inside and knowing that they were going through a pretty difficult ordeal. They were hungry and thirsty and knowing that they really couldn't do anything to help them. But everything turned out okay, as I said, for the overwhelming majority of the students when everyone was released shortly after 3 p.m. Reporting live from Mission Bay High School, Alicia Dean, NBC 7 39.
Alicia, thanks very much. Let's go back up to Carlsbad right now and talk a little bit more about that school shooting at Kelly Elementary. There were 4 people, Mark, who went to extraordinary measures to make sure that that gunman did not get away.
Not only that, as we bring in Greg Bledsoe into this conversation, but 2 of them were construction workers, Susan, who we understand initially rushed, and then 2 other guys jumped in, correct?
Exactly. The 2 construction workers that were actually working here on the campus at the time, and then 2 men who lived nearby jumped in and managed to hold the shooter down. And we've been saying it all day, but without those people, this could have been a much different situation. We talked to those 2 neighbors. Here's how they tell the story.
The kids, as soon as the first shot happened and I looked over, I could see the yard attendant starting to walk toward him and all the kids running into the school. So she did her job immediately. She either yelled or the kids heard the shots and knew what to do.
They were in the line of fire. I was running down the hill. So, you know, those guys were there, you know, everybody's heroes that helped out in the whole situation. You know, I just contributed to whatever part I did, and I'm just glad everybody's safe.
And that was Scott Chandler, and I asked him.
Breathe the vapors than actually to hold it or to ingest it. But again, small amount of mercury, big problems. They had to lock down these kids for 4 hours. Now, I gave you the nuts and bolts of it. Alicia Dean is here to give more of the human side of what went on today.
Thanks, Bob. You know, one of the more human things that we witnessed out here today is that in an emergency, people want to find out and spread information fast. That's why word of this lockdown spread like wildfire via social media.
All over Facebook, their status is, we're locked in a room, I'm so hungry, it needs to be lunch, or like, I really have to go to the bathroom.
Liliana Macias and her boyfriend Dylan Burton, who'd skipped class to have breakfast, were surprised when they showed up at school and couldn't get in. Since they were locked out, they used Facebook and text messages to constantly check in with their friends who were stuck inside. As messages spread about what was going on inside Mission Bay High, more and more concerned family members and friends gathered outside the school to find out what they could.
I have a girlfriend here that's still here. It's her senior year, and I was at a friend's house, and they have a younger sister here, and they called his house saying that, I guess, something about mercury. They brought mercury to school or something like that, so they have the school locked down. And I came here as fast as I could to make sure if she was okay.
That was Christopher Ramirez. Now, he graduated from Mission Bay High School last year, and of course he stuck around to see that his girlfriend, who's a senior here, was okay, and she was let out with hundreds of other students just after 3 p.m. Some parents that we spoke with who also showed up here said that they're pleased overall with how the school handled the emergency notification, calls were sent home, but they also say that having access to their students via text message and social media was also a big relief. Reporting live at Mission Bay High School, Alicia Dean. Susan, back to you.
Alicia, thanks very much. So we want to recap our top stories for you. About noon today, a gunman opened fire at Kelly Elementary School in Carlsbad. 2 children suffered minor injuries. Witnesses saw what was happening. They tackled the suspect. 2 construction